guys, how's it going? My name's Ari Masur, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about how VMware can help influence your end-user computing vision and journey. And I think the best way of doing this is talking a little bit about the history of end-user computing and how we're seeing a lot of organizations use it today, right? And two of the technologies I want to start off talking about are RDSH, or remote desktop session hosting, and traditional VDI, right? With the differences being shared resources versus dedicated resources, and whether or not you need a local machine as an endpoint. And the pioneers in this space are Citrix, XenApp for application streaming, or Zen Desktop for desktop streaming, and VMware Horizon. Right? So on top of managing that, the most commonly virtualized operating system or installed operating system on an endpoint is Windows, whether it's server or desktop OS. And that's actually managed separately, right? And the most common way that we've seen is by administrators using a tool called Systems Center Configuration Manager, or SCCM for short, which allows administrators to assign group policies to their AD groups to assign applications and determine access. The second most common operating system deployed at an endpoint is Mac OS. And simply because the deployment isn't as large as Windows, in fact, I believe it's over 90% Windows, 10% Mac for desktop OSs, there isn't as big of a third-party environment. So the main market leader for Mac management is a company called Jamf. And then about a decade ago, we saw enterprises start deploying and provisioning mobile phones, tablets, iOS, Android to their employees so they could start doing work on the go. And this is really where the explosion of third-party management tools started. And the market leaders here were AirWatch, Mobile Iron, Maz 360, Good by BlackBerry, and Microsoft Intune. And then one of the common things that we see popping up now is Chrome OS, and they've actually completely dominated some verticals, education being one. They're popping up a lot in state and local governments, and that is managed by what Google calls Chrome Enterprise. So as far as devices and OSs look, that's kind of the state of what we see at organizations today. But all of this together doesn't really take into account the user experience and accessibility. So organizations always try to provide their employees with some sort of single sign-on so that they only have to log in once in order for their employees to access their web apps, SaaS apps, desktop apps, or hosted apps. And the market leaders we've seen here is Okta, Ping, ADFS, actually, or VMware Access Tool. So really what you end up seeing here is, I think I've listed about 20 tools, and that is an incredible amount of tool sprawl. And the reason there's so many tools is because of these silos, right? You see here 6 different silos, which leads to organizations having to have multiple different teams with many different employees with a bunch of different expertise in order to provide their end users with what they need, but at the same time giving them as well as the IT administrators flexibility. And this is a problem, and this is exactly where VMware Workspace ONE comes into play, right? So what we do is we fit into all of these different silos, and we unify it and give you one management platform. So RDSH and VDI, we've been doing that as one of the pioneers, and in fact today we do that in the cloud. So if an organization wants to provide virtual desktops or RDSH to their employee and they don't want to stand up an entire backend infrastructure, we can allow organizations to stand up that backend infrastructure in the cloud so they can stream desktops out of the cloud to their employees. Windows, with our $1.5 billion acquisition of AirWatch, we bought our way into a market-leading place in the mobile device management space, and we've applied everything we've learned there into managing Windows 10. And in fact, we are Microsoft's preferred partner when it comes to Windows 10 management. Mac, a lot of companies won't invest in Mac management. We will. VMware is heavily invested in our Mac management feature of Workspace ONE. We work hand in hand with Apple to make sure with every release that we're always the first partner to be able to manage the security, patching, and updates. iOS and Android. With the AirWatch acquisition, we bought our way into the top spot, and we've maintained and innovated in ways that I'll share with you later on in this whiteboard. Chrome Enterprise. When Google decided they wanted to tackle the enterprise 3 years ago, VMware was the first third-party management solution that they opened up their APIs to. This was truly a go-to-market strategy partnership between VMware and Google, and it's been working well and great ever since. SSO, we provide our customers with what we call VMware Access, which is our IDP, and we integrate with any of the IDPs you might already have so you can leverage your existing investments. So, all of this together, we bring to you in our Workspace ONE unified endpoint management solution. And I think normally breaking down these silos and bringing all of this management of applications, OS devices would be enough, but we're VMware, so we want to give you just as many features as you can stomach. So a layer on top of this that we now provide you is what we are dubbing Workspace ONE Intelligence, which we've put together through a lot of hard work from our development teams as well as through multiple different acquisitions. And the purpose of this is to give you integrated insights. So data points, receiving them about OS versions, app versions, patching, battery life, health, and compliance. We also do this to provide you with automation, right? So if you want to automate your policies and increase your security hygiene across your environments, meet compliance requirements, and improve user experience, or if you want to extend and integrate any third-party IT tools for complete automation of your business processes, we have you covered with our Workspace ONE Intelligent platforms. We also want to provide you with app analytics, right? So give you the ability to optimize app development and app deployments across your organization to quickly resolve issues and reduce escalations and improve user experience. But this is all great. One of the biggest things we want to provide you here is to secure your endpoints. With Workspace ONE Intelligence, we want to provide you with a trust network so you can leverage all of the features of Workspace ONE Intelligent and integrate it with all of your security and endpoint security vendors. So how did we create this and why did we create this? Well, we created this so you guys can securely give your employees the best employee experience that they could ask for, right? And how did we create it? Well, we created it, like I said before, through a series of acquisitions. The first being AppTelligent, right? So, AppTelligent. So, AppTelligence allows you to harness the power of your mobile data, right? This means really getting insight and visibility into app performance, user behavior, and business insights, all while interfacing with Workspace ONE Intelligence so you can get whatever you need out of your app data. 2 is providing you with the software development kit. So our SDK is available so you can utilize your own software libraries as well as ours when you develop applications. And finally, Open API, right? So we actually have the most robust and detailed API in the end user space. And this will come in handy when you're integrating with partners or automating our workflows, as well as when you're integrating with your own applications, right? An example of this would be if you want to provide an end-to-end provision device to a new onboarded hire, you have the ability to use our Workspace ONE Intelligence platform, sync it with ServiceNow, so the whole device provisioning process is automated and zero touch. That's pretty powerful. But we're not done, guys. We also enable mobile workflows. And this is really pretty freaking cool. So we automate and complete workflows without even leaving the Workspace ONE application, meaning within the Workspace ONE application, you have the ability to approve expense reports, give Salesforce discounts, or log your paid time off with the click of a button. And dude, all this is amazing, but how much is it really worth if you can't use it? Which is why we have what we call Assist, which gives you world-class remote device support, right? And that's built directly into the Workspace ONE application, which allows us to give you best-in-class support to make sure that you're getting the most out of this platform. And to top all of this off, so you don't have any question about if you want to use it, we want to provide you with the most secure experience ever with what we call the Workspace ONE Trust Network. So the Workspace ONE Trust Network gives you a comprehensive and modern enterprise security approach to secure your employees' apps, endpoints, and networks, right? So you can leverage your security partners and your existing investments and integrate it into our Workspace ONE tool, right? By using our APIs. And the partners that we've already have agreement with to be a part of our Trust Network ecosystem include Symantec, Lookout, Netscope, Palo Alto, and probably most of the other security vendors you either have or are looking at. And to solidify our commitment to you and our foothold in the security space, we completed a $2.1 billion acquisition of Carbon Black last year, which is the leader in the endpoint detection response place. And what we've done is integrated this technology across our entire VMware stack. And we've done this to provide you, the end user, with a complete zero trust model. So this is what we can offer you with our VMware end user computing suite of solutions. And I guess now it's time to ask you, is there any of these different parts that you want to hear a little bit more about? Thank you.